The president today, I think, these are such important comments. They bear repeating, and I know that there's a bunch of you on hold, and I will get to your calls in just a second. But I just want to play these two clips from President Obama one more time because they are so touching and so to the point. And the first was President Obama saying what I've been saying on this program for some time now, particularly since the verdict came out in the trial, which is that, I mean, he's not saying it the way I'm saying it, but I mean, speaking to this point, shall we say, that both Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman were on trial. George Zimmerman was on trial for killing Trayvon Martin, and his defense was that Trayvon Martin was a bad guy threatening him. So then the sub-trial of that was that Trayvon Martin was on trial. Was he guilty of threatening George Zimmerman? Now, if he was guilty of threatening George Zimmerman, then George Zimmerman had a legitimate self-defense defense. But if Trayvon Martin was not guilty of threatening George Zimmerman, then George Zimmerman had no defense. So both of them were on trial, but the standard that was used to judge George Zimmerman was, did he feel frightened for his own bodily safety? And if he did, then he had the right to pull the trigger and kill his kid. The standard that was used for Trayvon Martin, just ask any right-winger in America, the standard that was used for Trayvon Martin was, why didn't he run? It was the pre-2006, pre-Koch brothers, NRA, ALEC, Jeb Bush, pre-stand your ground, shoot first law. That was the standard that was used for Trayvon Martin. The right-wingers keep saying, why didn't he run? He had 4 minutes. He could have gotten home during that time. So Trayvon Martin did not have a right to stand his ground. George Zimmerman did, by that logic. And I keep pointing this out, and people keep going, really? Well, here's the president pointing it out.
I just ask people to consider, if Trayvon Martin was of age and armed, could he have stood his ground on that sidewalk? And do we actually think that he would have been justified in shooting Mr. Zimmerman, who had followed him in a car, because he felt threatened? And if the answer to that question is at least ambiguous, then it seems to me that we might want to examine those kinds of laws.
Yeah, we might want to. Yeah, 31 states, we have stand your ground, shoot first laws put there by the National Rifle Association, the Koch brothers, the American Legislative Exchange Council, and they're virtually always Republican toadies. And it's time to seriously examine those laws, number one. And number two, he said, by the way, you white people out there who have never had much contact with African Americans, you should know that life is different for us than it is for you. The president, I mean, again, I'm paraphrasing. You'll hear his actual quote in just a minute. But I keep saying on this program, and I've been saying it for a long, long time, I didn't know what white privilege was until well into my adult life. I don't think most white people understand what white privilege is. And I don't think most white people have any idea what the experience of being black in America is. And so the president did some educating today, and I think it was really important that white people in America hear this. Now, I realize that there was an explosion of white right-wingers hysterical about this. Hugh Hewitt, this POTUS presser is remarkable, like he fell through the time tunnel to his state senate days. And Republican Brian Walsh, remarkable that the President of the United States continues to fan the flames on George Zimmerman. And Joe Pollack writes at Breitbart.com, Obama backs the race baiters. And Joe Walsh, President Obama is making this all about race. And Dana Loesch, it's a combo protest diversion from scandals and attempt to weaken laws protecting the right to self-defense. And Tammy Bruce and Ben Shapiro and Dan Rhea. There's a whole list of all these tweets from all these right-wingers over at thinkprogress.org. But, who are objecting to the fact that he's saying, hey, by the way, you white people, and by no coincidence, I don't think all these people who are attacking him are white. He says, by the way, you white people, those of us who grew up black and male in America have a slightly different experience of the world. Here is his saying that.
When Trayvon Martin was first shot, I said that this could have been my son. Another way of saying that is Trayvon Martin could have been me 35 years ago. And when you think about why, in the African American community at least, there's a lot of pain around what happened here, I think it's important to recognize that the African American community is looking at this issue through a set of experiences and a history that that doesn't go away. There are very few African American men in this country who haven't had the experience of being followed when they were shopping in a department store. That includes me. There are very, very few African American men who haven't had the experience of walking across the street and hearing the locks click on the doors of cars. That happens to me, at least before I was a senator. There are very few African Americans who haven't had the experience of getting on an elevator and a woman clutching her purse nervously and holding her breath until she had a chance to get off. That happens often.
So there you go. The president's saying, this is, welcome to my world. It's pretty amazing. I think that, frankly, those simple comments are some of the best comments on race in America that I've heard in a long, long time.